How's it going, guys? My name is Michael.
I'm Jeffrey.
This is Houston Brothers Gaming News. We are brutally accurate and brutally honest. Today we are going to be talking about our post E3 prediction, our post E3 show, whatever you want to call it. We'll start out with Electronic Arts. So with EA, they
hosted their conference on June 12th at 1 p.m. as part of their own EA Play event. During the conference, they showed new trailers for Titanfall 2 and Battlefield 1. It looks like a behind-the-scenes look at Mass Effect Andromeda, and updates on the upcoming Star Wars games from EA. The game company also revealed a teaser trailer for Madden NFL 2017, a new game mode in FIFA 17, a new game company called EA Originals, which will help push titles created by indie developers, which is the first such title being Fe, or Faye, or however you pronounce it. I don't know. I didn't really get a chance to watch it, the EA conference. I was doing something else at the moment.
And we are getting all this right from Wikipedia. Some of them we watch, some of them we are getting it from Wikipedia. We will leave a link to the Wikipedia article in the description if you guys want to come watch it, see it for yourself. Moving on to going to EA again for a second. I seen a little bit of their Battlefield 1 gameplay, and Battlefield 1 looks good. Mass Effect Andromeda, I mean, I really hope it's, just as good as the other ones. The Mass Effect series, I haven't played it myself, but from what I've seen of it, it looks like a fairly good series.
Well, I think they kind of killed it a little bit with Mass Effect 3. I think they kind of killed it, but it's good to see that they're trying to bring back the series. Hopefully the endings aren't utter shit, but I don't have any expectations, because just like my brother, I have not played it, so I have nothing to go on other than videos I've seen online. So take it for what you will, but from what I've heard and for what the little gameplay I've seen of it, it looks really good.
So the next one we'll be talking about is probably the one that everybody is on the internet is disliking the most, and that is Bethesda. Bethesda's second E3 conference was held on June 12th at 7 p.m. Pacific time, and they revealed a remaster of The Elder Scrolls Skyrim, along with new DLC content and VR versions of The Elder Scrolls Online, Doom, and Fallout 4. And an intro for The Elder Scrolls Legends. Trailers and gameplay and release windows were shown for Prey, Quake, Champions, and Dishonored 2. Now, I didn't really like the fact that they did a remaster of The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Don't get me wrong, Skyrim was not a bad game. I'm not saying Skyrim was a bad game.
By any means, Skyrim was not a bad game. But me and my brother both feel that it doesn't matter how good or how bad the graphics are in a game, it is still the same game. If Nintendo remastered Pokemon Yellow, it doesn't matter how good the graphics are in the new Pokemon Yellow, which is not happening, by the way, it's just an example. It doesn't matter, it'll still be the exact same Pokemon Yellow unless they added any new content, which in this one it didn't. It's just updated graphics, which, while it's all fun and good, some normal PCs that aren't gaming really can't handle it. I know, I've tried to install it on on my laptop that I have, and it ran like shit. And this is a brand new laptop, has barely anything installed on it.
So, I mean, take it for what you will, but I think that this year Bethesda kind of missed the mark with it. They could have released something else besides Dishonored 2. Dishonored 2, it looks like a great game, but I think they needed one of their heavier hitters other than Dishonored. I think they needed to rely something else besides Dishonored. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, no hate on Dishonored. It's not a bad game. In fact, it's a really good game. And if I liked the series a little more and played the first game, then I'd probably pre-order the second one. But whether it's a good game or not, it still has a select fan base. It's not really widespread because there's not a lot of lore behind it. From what I could gather, there's not really a lot of lore behind it that people can get into, like the Fallout series or the Elder Scrolls series, which, in my opinion, is a bad move, bad mark for Bethesda. They should have at least announced something about either Elder Scrolls 6 or maybe even, hell, a new Fallout game I would have been okay with. Just something big, something more of a heavy hitter than new Fallout DLC, Elder Scrolls Online, and Dishonored.
But leaving Bethesda behind, we'll go to Microsoft because we don't want to get stuck on Bethesda too long. Microsoft, their press conference was the 13th at 9 o'clock or 9:30 a.m. and they unveiled two new revisions of the Xbox One. The first one being the Xbox One S, which is what we said in our pre-E3 video, which is what we thought was the Xbox One Slim.
And then they also released the really big Project Scorpio.
Now, Project Scorpio, in case you didn't see it or you don't want to go watch the entire, hour and a half part of the conference to try to find it, it is labeling itself as the most powerful console ever. It will feature an 8-core ADM APU with 320 gigabits per second of memory bandwidth and have 6 teraflops of graphical performance. In regular terms, this thing is a beast.
And, no hate on Microsoft or anything for me saying this, and I know I will get hate in the comments section below, so take out all your anger on me. This is not my brother's opinion, this is my own personal opinion. I'm personally not impressed. It takes a lot more to impress me from any game company. It just takes a lot to impress me. The only thing that has impressed me is a not really well-known game called Two Worlds. It was really good, had really good graphics, and was not really half bad of a game either. So that's the only thing in gaming that actually left me speechless. So to me personally, I'm not impressed. But again, it does take a lot more than this to impress me with a console. So take it with a grain of salt.
But as it says on this article here from Wikipedia that I'm looking at, it says that it is meant to support 4K gameplay as well as virtual reality. So, it's not meant for casual players. It's meant for the most hardcore people that want the best experience. So it's probably not going to be, $299 or, whatever you want for the regular Xbox or Xbox One S. It's going to be for the most extreme people that want to have the best performance out there.
And again, no hate for Project Scorpio, but we still don't know a lot about Sony's new console, the Neo, because they didn't release a whole lot of information. They did confirm its existence at E3.
They didn't? No, they didn't.
Yeah, they did. In their post-conference, they did. They mentioned something about a new console coming on the way.
I didn't see anything.
Well, I seen it, and a lot of other people seen it. If you look on Twitter, go to their hashtag, they mentioned in their post show something about a new console. So this may be the most powerful console ever, but we still don't know a lot about the Neo. Its existence, from what I've heard, is confirmed. From what I heard. I did see it, but it didn't seem too promising. All they mentioned was a new console on the way. That could be their next-gen console for all I know.
Okay, so in addition to that, they announced what was it? Xbox Play Anywhere, which allows you to, if you buy a game digitally on Xbox One, you can play it across the Xbox One and Windows 10.
Now that feature I do like, since I am a hardcore PC gamer. I'm not saying PC is master race or anything. There are a lot of things that consoles can do that PC can't. But I'm a hardcore PC gamer, so for me, that is a really nice feature.
They also announced new trailers are shown for Gears of War 4, Halo Wars 2, Inside, Tekken, 7, Killer Instinct, ReCore, Scalebound, and Sea of Thieves.
Going back to Sea of Thieves for a second, I am glad that Rareware is finally getting their time to shine in the spotlight with a new title. I know it's not, Banjo-Kazooie or Conquer or anything, but I'm still really glad that they're kind of going back to their roots a tad bit. I mean, I know it's not a, basic collectathon per se, but, give or take, Rareware is coming back, not making any more horrible games, hopefully.
And they also revealed Dead Rising 4, State of Decay 2, and Forza Horizon 3. And all three of them will play on the new Play Anywhere system. So that's what you have from Microsoft.
They also released something about Final Fantasy. I didn't catch that, though. I had to do something around the house and didn't catch too much of that, but they did release something about Final Fantasy.
It was just a demo, a gameplay demo for it. Going to
Ubisoft,
we had their conference was on June 13th at 1 p.m. and they did trailers and dates for Honor, Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands, South Park: The Fractured But Whole, demos of Watch Dogs 2 and Eagle Flight, and also behind-the-scenes footage of the Assassin's Creed movie, with reveals of Steep, Trials of the Blood Dragon, Grow Up, and Star Trek Bridge Crew. So starting at For Honor. For Honor, it looks like a fighting type of game where you're one of three classes, and you're trying to basically take over the other three areas. So that there's the samurai, the Vikings, and somebody else. I don't think they announced it, but in the gameplay that they showed of it, it was the Vikings and the samurai. So
okay, I'm gonna lay the cards all on the table. Just like with EA's conference, I could not catch Ubisoft. I did see Sony, and I did see all the Nintendo Treehouses. Well, all the major ones anyway. There were a couple minor ones, but all the major Treehouses I did see, but I did not get to see Ubisoft's. I was doing something else at the time, and I only caught the very end of it. So, and I didn't get a chance to go back and rewatch it on YouTube. So I don't really have much to say here either. Sorry to interrupt you, but I'll let you take this one.
That's fine. The next game that they did was Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands is the next one on here. That game, it's a Tom Clancy Ghost Recon game. What else can you expect? It's mostly get in, get a target, get out. But this time there's different ways you can complete your objectives, as with all Ghost Recon games. So, it was the second thing they did after the intro. It was like the first thing they did after the intro. So, if you want to go watch it, it's not too far from the beginning of the conference if you can find it online. South Park: The Fractured But Whole. That game is definitely interesting. It's basically, from what I could see, it's the day after the last game, and the kids of South Park have kind of moved on from the last game, and now they're pretending to be superheroes.
And if you didn't know what the last game was South Park: The Stick of Truth. And I'm pretty sure all of you knew what it was, but I just figured I'd throw that out there after my brother said it. Said that it was the day after the last game.
So, go watch that part of it if you can find it. It was the second thing they did. They did it right after Ghost Recon Wildlands, so it looks like a pretty good game. What else we got? Grow Up was one that they announced, and Grow Up is the sequel to Grow Home. So you're playing as Bud again, and it's basically just almost like the original, with a few changes here and there. But I think that's about it for Ubisoft.
Moving back to Sony. Sorry to say about Sony before, but I figured I just needed to get that out there, and that was the appropriate time. But Sony if E3 was a popularity contest, I think Sony definitely won that contest. I don't see it as a contest, but I know a lot of hardcore fans do. So I think hands down, Sony definitely won.
Yeah, if, like you said, if there was a popularity contest, Sony had this wrapped up from the minute they went live. They had a live orchestra playing the backing music to all of the things that they were doing.
That was pretty awesome, I have to admit.
And right off the bat, we got brand new God of War game.
Talk about starting with a big heavy hitter, by the way. Bethesda should take a couple lessons from them. They started right off with one of their biggest heavy hitters, God of War, and it looked amazing.
You know, now you're still Kratos, but you're training your son. Yes, Kratos has a child in this. If you did not see the press conference, I would highly recommend you go watch it. It's probably one of the better ones from E3. I think Sony saved E3 this year, to be quite honest with you. Yeah, Microsoft pulled a couple of good punches with Scorpio and the Xbox One S.
And like Sea of Thieves and, Gears of War. But I think Sony is the one that saved this entire E3. I have to agree with my brother on this one.
So they did...
And going back to God of War for a second, not to linger too long on it, but I just have to ask, what took so long for Kratos to finally get a son? If you played any of the previous God of War games, they should have happened, a while back.
No. That is true. So, going down my list here, they released God of War, Days Gone, The Last Guardian, Horizon Zero Dawn, Detroit Become Human, Resident Evil for the PSVR, Resident Evil 7 for the PSVR, the PSVR PlayStation VR system. They released the release date for that. It's October 13th. Farpoint for the PlayStation VR, Star Wars Battlefront X-Wing VR Mission, Batman Arkham VR, Final Fantasy 7, or Final Fantasy 15, Jesus, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered, Crash Bandicoot Remastered, Lego Star Wars The Force Awakens, Death Stranding from Kojima Productions, and Spider-Man. That's the list.
Good God, it was still awesome.
So going down that list, to hit some of the big ones again, Crash Bandicoot Remastered, in case you didn't catch it,
was probably the thing that broke the internet for a while.
Well, in addition to God of War, God of War started it off, and then Crash Bandicoot just killed everything. Crash Bandicoot is what killed everyone.
I just want to say I love the Crash series. I don't know why I love it. I wasn't around during its popularity, but I was over at a friend's house. They offered to play it, and I instantly fell in love with it. So I might want to try to get the Crash Bandicoot games when they are released.
And it's all three of the original Crash Bandicoot games. It's not just one, it's all three of the originals. And then Kojima Productions' Death Stranding. Come on, it's Hideo Kojima. He came into the conference himself and got the reception of a rock star.
And didn't say anything.
All he said was like 5 words. And he got the reception of a rock star. So I don't think I need to explain, that game.
But going on to Kojima for a second, I actually kind of missed. I saw the beginning when Kojima came out, but I didn't catch the actual gameplay itself. But judging based on what he's done in the previous games with Konami, if he can make games that are a lot scarier than most horror games out right now, you're doing something right. So I'm hoping this game is kind of like his games in the past, and it's really kind of eerie in a way.
So,
moving on to Nintendo, they, for the 4th consecutive time, they decided not to host a traditional E3 conference, but instead host a Treehouse, which is both good and bad. I'll just let you guys be the judge of that one. I'm not going to really get into that one too much. They released even more information about Pokemon Sun and Moon, as well as the new Legend of Zelda game, Breath of the Wild. I'm guessing is what it was.
Yep.
As well as stuff about Pokemon Go, and just a bunch of other games. Some of them include Mario Party, Paper Mario, Color Splash, Rhythm Heaven Mega Mix, Dragon Quest, Fragment of the Forgotten Past, and Yokai Watch 2. I played the demo of the original Yokai Watch. I haven't played the actual game, but from the demo, it seemed pretty good. Maybe a game I might try to get in the future. Maybe a game I might live stream in the future. Who knows?
So,
we will be covering Nintendo a lot more in depth. Sorry to interrupt, by the way. But we will be covering them a lot more in depth with our Pokemon Sun and Moon episode, which will be centered around it. But I will also be talking a lot more about like Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, Yokai Watch 2, all that stuff. So we're not going to touch too long on Nintendo.
So that about does it for this episode. Let us know what you guys think. What did you guys think of this year's E3? I mean, did it live up to your expectations, or did it kind of fall short?
For me personally, it kind of fell short. Bethesda kind of just killed the mood for E3 altogether. I know Sony saved it, but the rest of the conferences weren't really good. I mean, yeah, Project Scorpio was announced, cool. But honestly, to me, it kind of fell short of my expectations with Bethesda not releasing anything about any type of new Elder Scrolls game.
But
what about you? Did E3 fall short of your expectations?
Not really. It kind of it fell short with Bethesda, but I think with everybody else, it kind of saved it a little bit. But these are just our opinions on everything. They may not match up with your opinions.
Let us, like he said, let us know what you think down below. Did you like the conference? Did you hate the conference? Your favorite part? Your least favorite part? Just tell us all about what you guys thought of it.
So that does it for this episode of Houston Brothers Gaming News. I'm Michael.
I am Jeffrey, and we are signing out.